Hello and welcome to the J70 Danish Championship 2023. My name is Thomas Bjørn. I'm going to guide you through what's going to happen to this championship, and it's day one of the racing. Let's start with a weather report. It's going to be between 16 and 24 kts on the waters, and the bearing of the wind is coming from the west. So a lot of racing, a lot of action, everything is going to be fun. So let's join it, and if you want to know more, go to the J70 class Denmark's Facebook and Instagram.
Hi, my name is Jacob Sorensen. I'm from Torbæk Sejlklub, and today we are setting up here in Sønderborg for the Danish championships in the J70 class. I'm currently sitting with the rudder, the thing that you use to steer the boat, obviously. The J70 is very light and flat bottomed, which makes it very easy to turn. It can essentially turn on a plate, which makes it fun and very active. Sailing in the bigger boat classes are usually like a bit slow. Like there's a long reaction time. You don't get that here in the J70. The moment you touch the rudder, the boat reacts and sends you another direction.
The J70 has a tendency to overpower a little bit. So how to depower the boat, and especially when you're going downwind. Let's hear more about that.
Hi and welcome aboard our beautiful J70. We're just in the middle of setting everything up for the races, and I would like to give you a tour. Downwind in J70 doesn't involve getting the boom out as far as in sailing a smaller dinghy. Usually when sailing downwind in a J70, reaching the best VMG includes going a little bit more up in the wind. This plays well together with the asymmetrical spinnaker and makes for much easier fast sailing. So the J70 as a boat is actually quite a bit over-rigged in terms of sailing to boat weight, which means that usually when sailing in higher wind speeds, usually above 12 knots, it gets important to be able to depower the sails and then turn the boat. For this we use the Traveller. And also the backstay, som kører herom bagved.
It was a calm start of the morning here in Sønderborg, Denmark. It's the J70 Danish Championship. Let's go to the races and see who performed the best and how it went on the waters. Race 1 at the 2023 J70 Danish Championship in Sønderborg, Denmark. An increasing wind starting at 14 kts, coming from a bearing of 220 degrees, was the factor that decided for most of the fleet's tactics of the race. A safe start where the fleet spread out over the whole starting area. And at the first upwind leg, they continued to explore how to race under these great forming conditions inside the Bay of Sønderborg. It was a great start for Germany, 1377, that rounded the top with a lead of 100 meters to the second place. The rest of the fleet was fighting for their positions at the top mark. Downwind, the fleet decided to follow Germany, 1377, to the right-hand side. But approximated 500 meters before the gate, a larger number of the fleet shifted to the left-hand side and a split was formed. At the second top mark rounding, the fleet took a more safe route. Halfway upwind, the fleet went to starboard ley line to secure and defend their position. Germany 1377 took the win in front of Denmark 1410 and Sweden 786.
Rasmus Højsag, KAS, Københavns Amatør Sejlklub. It's been fantastic weather. I mean, 15 degrees with anything between 10 and 26 knots out there. Definitely difficult, but a lot of fun. I almost couldn't. I mean, we'd like a lot more wind. If we could have 26 knots the whole time, we'd love that. But we can't. We're not going to complain.
Race 2. The wind have increased to 18 kts, which yet again changed the tactic among the fleet. A start where the fleet spread out on the line with a bigger pack at the pin end. It looked like the pin end was the more favorite side of the race course, and the boats here were now in the lead. A lot of small battles was fought upwind, but it did not have any effect on the tactic and the racing on Germany 1377, which also in race number 2 rounded the top mark first, this time with 150 meters lead to second place. Rest of the fleet yet again had to fight for position at the first top mark. Downwind, it was again the right hand side paying out, but this time a larger number of the fleet had issues controlling their spinnaker. The gate mark was in race 2, the place where the battle was fought for positions. Upwind, most of the fleet chosen to race towards the middle of the race course. The last downwind to the reach mark and then towards the finish line, the fleet spread out to avoid battle for wind. It was yet again Germany 1377 winning, this time in front of Denmark 1667 and Sweden 786.
Yes, I'm Gordon Nickel, sailing for Flensburger Segelclub, so we are from the German side. And yesterday we came here on the waterway, so we didn't came by car. So yeah, it was champagne sailing. I mean, we had sunshine, we had nice breeze, nice gust for the downwinds, super nice rides. I mean, tough competition. So 5 races are also, yeah. We like the format. Actually, it's for us. It's our training event for the league in Germany for the final. So yeah, yeah, we are quite happy. So actually, it's the first time since 2 years that we are back on board with this 4 people, and yeah, for this we can really say, yeah, was a nice start. We attacked the first 2 starts really aggressive, were on the pin end, and yeah, could gain a lot on the first upwind actually. Afterwards it went a bit more crowdy on the pin end, so was a hard fight, but yeah, in general it was really nice sailing. Yeah.
Race 3. The wind pressure was now between 18 and 22 of kts. So in race 3, the fleet was fighting for the best starting position at the pin end mark. Halfway up leg 1, the fleet starting to tack towards the right hand side to secure the best starboard position towards the top mark. Downwind, the fleet chosen to keep into the center of the race course, which gave the fleet a bigger chance to figure out which side of the gate mark will favor them going upwind. It all ended up with many small fights at the left-hand side of the gate. These fights made the fleet split up at the gate, which resulted in a widespread fleet upwind, where the fleet actually finished race 3 like pearls on a string. It was Sweden 786 which won the race in front of Germany 1377 and Denmark 1410.
My name is Detlef and I represent Hellerup Sail Club.
What are your thoughts about today's racing?
I think today's racing was great. There was a lot of wind, a lot of gusts, but generally it was great quality racing, great lengths, and people's general overall level was very high. The wind was actually, it was a very, whenever they came into a gust, it was very stable gusts. The wind strength just kept growing throughout the day. It was a bit tricky because it seemed that the waves were a bit more, what do you say, choppy on the right side. So do you want the choppy but more wind on the right side? Did you go left? It was a bit more flat, but you had a little less wind because it was covered by the shore. So that was a challenge today, but I think everybody managed and found that the left side was a good one.
Race 4. It seems like the fleet has found out how to start racing under the strong wind conditions. Most of the fleet was packed from the middle of the starting line towards the pin end side. And because of this clustering up at the left hand side of the race course, the fleet decided halfway upwind of leg 1 to split up. The wind was starting to stabilize at 20 kts, which made the fleet racing downwind in the right hand side. The leaders had some small fights at the gate mark, where the middle of the fleet had to fight for each position. In race 4, the fleet made a big split upwind towards the second top mark, where no boats chosen to race towards the middle. Race 4 was won by Denmark 1410 in front of Germany 1377 and Denmark 1450.
My name is Victor and I'm sailing for Hellerup Cyclub. It was very nice. The weather was absolutely perfect. Maybe a bit too much wind, but it was very nice, and the competition is so good. So it's been a very good day on the water, and we learned a lot, and we hopefully got some nice races. We'll check the results, but it was very good. The conditions was absolutely perfect. There was nice wind, nice waves, and not a lot of sun, but it wasn't too cold, so everything was very good. We were very hopeful in that we got in front of the major crowds on the first top mark rounding, so we just got in front of the chaos, so we are very happy about that. But we got some close some close action, and we got a little bit of a mark on the boat, but nothing too serious, so it's all good.
Race 5, the last race of the day. 5 great races here in the Bay of Sønderborg. Now there was no doubt that the starting was at the pin end, and that was where the favorite side was. Race 5 start was remembered by the large fight that we had at the pin end mark. Almost 25 boats from the fleet headed to the left-hand side of the race course and continued until tacking up towards the first top mark on port tack. They all got lifted by the gust now coming from the left-hand side. It was the female team, Denmark 410, which rounded the top mark in the lead. Because of the gust coming from the left-hand side, most of the fleet sailed downwind at the right-hand side, which was a great idea to keep speed into the boat. At the Lake Tree upwind towards the second top mark, the fleet was still packed. This resulted in some great close racing with a lot of small battles in the battle. So now it was up to the boat handling of the skippers to stay out of trouble for the rest of the race. Denmark 914 grabbed the victory, followed by Sweden 786 and Denmark 1410.
So my name is Ida Marie Bad Nielsen and I'm from Kass. It was really nice condition today, very windy. It was we are a new team and it was the first time trying this much wind, but it was a lot of fun. So we thought that during the day it seemed out that the left side of the course always paid off. So in the last race we won the pin and start, and then we just went left and it was still good, so that was nice. And I also think we sailed pretty fast.